Um, and then the other place you need to look at is your committee. You got to have help. The Cub Master and a committee chair can't do it all. They can try, but you're going to burn them out. You're going to make them angry. You don't want to do that. You want to build up their committees and all that. How do you find those adults? Well, you look around at the PAC meetings and the den meetings. Adults that are paying attention and not on their phones or off in the corner chatting away. Those are the parents that you want to talk to. That's how we did it in the PAC. We've got 25 registered leaders in my PAC. And that's just from paying attention to who's paying attention. To be honest with you, I don't really know what happens during the PAC meetings because I'm actually watching and observing the parents and seeing who we can get to either help out with activities or come onto the committee and whatever. So that's just me. Standing up on your podium and saying, I need a new committee chair. I need a new treasurer. Or in my case, I need a new colonel. That's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. People aren't going to make eye contact with you. They're going to look down at their phones or whatever. So the way you do it is, again, you've identified those parents that are paying attention. And so you just kind of go up to them and you start talking to them. Hey, would you mind helping out with this? Would you mind helping out with that? I'm telling you, it works. Or say, I've got a committee position open and I need somebody to fill it. And then you tell them the truth on what the time commitment's going to be. You don't make a joke at them. Oh, it's only an hour a week. That's old. It's an old stale joke. But you tell them. My treasurer, I tell her 5 hours a month. That's realistic. 5 hours a month. My PAC secretary, 4 hours a month. So the other thing is print out the guidelines for those positions and then draw lines through them. No, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do this, we don't do that. This is what we do though. Every PAC is different. Every unit is different. Tailor that sheet of expectations and responsibilities to your unit. If you want to grow and you want to do some of these things, well, don't write it out. Say, these are the things we're not doing and we want to do. We could really use your help. So, again, you don't get on the podium and ask for help. It's one-on-one, eyeball-to-eyeball contact, and it's best if you're between them and the door. And and then lastly, we're going to talk about training your adult leaders. That's one of the hardest parts. Even in my own PAC, I've got a den leader that still isn't trained, still 6 months later. Driving me crazy, but you got to stay on them. Of course, if they're not YPT trained, then they're not included, right? You don't recharter them, and you don't let them be around the units. No, you're not YPT trained. I can't have you out in front of these kids. I can't have you interacting with the scouts. You're not YPT trained. And if they say, okay, I'm going to leave, say, okay. Okay, because the safety of the youth is more important than anything else. Safety of the youth is number one. You want to make sure that your leaders are trained. YPT first, and then the other training. They do offer in-person training, classroom training. Very seldom does it actually occur because nobody ever signs up. I'm hoping to get my one leader the next time they have one of those to basically walk her in, and I'll sit down next to her while she takes the training or whatever. I know the lady running the powwow this year, and she's hoping to have some leader training for that as well. So, any questions from Zoom land on what we've talked about so far? How about here in the office? How about here? Any questions? Yes, sir.
And I'm more asking this for the benefit of everybody else, because we're in a military town. How intrusive do you like to ask about, like, hey, when are you rotating? Or do you just wait for them to come to you?
No, I'm pretty diplomatic about it. I say, what's your PRD? What are your plans? You know, how much longer are you on shore duty? Are you on sea duty? It's not a secret. It's not secret information for them, and so I just ask them, you know, hey, I have a succession plan. I've had a running succession plan for 4.5, 5 years now. I just turned it over to my relief last night, but on there I have PRDs and EAOSs for my leaders, and it's just one of those things I have. So I know that in March of 2023, I have to replace my Weeblos leader. I have to have a replacement. I do. I've got an assistant, but I need to have another leader step up to be the assistant. I already know that. Why? Because it's in my succession plan. And everybody should have it. If you Google BSA succession plan, there's a really Gucci document, and you just print it out and fill it out. So, any more questions? Alrighty, and I think Pam, you're up next. Speaking of new member coordinators and Gucci.
Pam?
Yeah, sure.
You want me to show the page on in this guide?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. All right. We're doing some technological stuff right now. I'm not sure, but let me show you the bling that comes with the new member coordinator. You don't have to wear a Class A. That's awesome.
The what? The field uniform?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I go Class A, Class B. You don't have to wear a pack t-shirt, which is comfortable. But when you wear this shirt, you kind of stand out from everybody else. Sometimes I even wear this shirt out and about and they think I'm a Walmart greeter because it says welcome on there. But anyway, so that's my little joke for the day. You get little pins, you get this, and then for the guys, if you don't want to wear a polo, you get this shirt. These are all on the BSA website that you can order as a unit. They're not very much. I think they're like 18 for the t-shirt, 24 for the shirt. So, but you stand out from everybody else. I've been a new member coordinator, I think, since it first came out as a position. It's a very easy training. It's less than half an hour. It's very basic. I recommend that you go ahead and go to a new member coordinator training, which we had one already this year. We'll probably do one in the fall. That's when the new member coordinators will get together and kind of powwow as far as what they do to help their unit. One size does not fit all. There's not a regimen that you go through for a new member coordinator. You look and see where the need is, and then you fill it. So did you have a question?
Do you recommend that the new member coordinators take committee member training as well so they know where they fit in?
Yeah, I would recommend that because there's going to be a lot of questions coming to you from new parents. The question was if you should take committee member training.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea because, who's the person that's supposed to be a new member coordinator? There's not a set person. You look for somebody who is helpful, somebody who's cheerful. They're kind of like the front person to your unit. They're going to be asked a lot of questions. Do they have to have all the answers? No, they don't. But what they do need to do for the parents is be accessible to them. So, when the Cub Master's up there, when the Scout Master's up there, that's when I'm in the back of the room with the parents. I'm going through a new member packet with them. I'm answering questions for them. If I don't have the answer, I'm going to be getting up with the Cub Master or the committee chair, depending on what the question is afterwards. I give my information to them. I get, parents calling me, during the week, late at night, they've got a question, I'm accessible to them. So that's kind of my job. But also, a new member coordinator is fantastic for going and following up on leads. You say, why do you need a new member coordinator? I really don't think you can do without one because the Cub Master's busy with the program or the Scout Master, and the committee is taking care of the health of the unit. And so all these new parents come in, they need to have a point of contact, okay? So I also, one of the things that I do, and maybe it's sneaky, but when I'm talking to these parents, I'm seeing how I can make them into a leader. What bucket could they possibly go in? I know what the empty spots are in my committee, or in the program, and so I'm able to identify through talking to them, and then I go up to the Cub Master or wherever I think they would best fit and say, hey, I think this person's good for this position, and this is why. So, I get a little intel from the parents. So my job is to lessen the load. So however the committee needs me to help out, the program side needs me to help out, that's my job. And it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Every unit does its own thing. And so that's what I do. Another one of my jobs is to work with the school system to try to get flyers in there. My unit right now is extremely top-heavy. I've got Weeblos and AOLs and just a couple little guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target my school in the lower levels with flyers. I'm going to look and coordinate with the PTA, and I'm going to say, hey, is there anything we can help out with so we can get some visibility? Can we go ahead and make popcorn or snow cones or something like that? So I'm kind of networking with the schools. I'm networking with the community around my school. So basically, I think that's pretty much what my job is. I also, one of the things that I think is really important is you're going to have those people that drop off the radar in your unit. You haven't seen them for a few weeks. The Cub Masters, Scout Masters, they don't have time to call on that. There's really not a point person in the committee. I'll call them and I'll say, hey, is everything okay? Are you still, is there anything we can do to help you out? I've been able to salvage some scouts that way just by reaching out. When people don't feel like they're missed, they won't go to that organization. And so I'm the person that say, hey, come on back. I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Roughly 1/3 of the parents drop out in the first 90 days. To get this in the title of the group retention, the new member coordinator is key to those parents that drop out. They may not know that if they're not happy at that pack, the new member coordinator can help them find another pack. They don't know they can transfer. Your job, the new member, really is to help them feel comfortable in scouting, whether it be in their pack or another pack.
Okay, what he just said, if you didn't hear, is 1/3 of the parents drop out in what, first 90 days?
90 days.
First 90 days. One of my other jobs can be is if my night doesn't work out for them Monday night, I can find another pack that's Wednesday night. Or if there's some other need that our unit is not filling, I can network with the other new member coordinators or some of the other leaders in the other units to keep them in scouting. So, good point. Anybody else have any questions? From Zoom land?
Let me see. Let's stop share here. Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Get you all a t-shirt.
All right. So you'll notice when we're in our different sections and everybody's speaking, I'll share a screen of something. Well, all of that is in your handy dandy pack recruiting tackle box. So what I'll do is if they're talking about something related to what's in the tackle box, I'll post that on there. That way, when you go through there, you can refer back to it. You can go back and refer back to it. So we've talked about where we're at, and figuring out what we need, where we need to do, what we need to do, who we need to recruit. So the next thing was our first person we need to recruit is our new member coordinator. So next, my fellow Wood Badge Eagle and friend, but also the Princess Anne membership chair, Katie Ramirez. She's going to talk about planning your calendar for your ideal year of scouting. So come on up.
Thanks, Bill. As Bill mentioned, my name is Katie Ramirez. I am the Princess Anne District membership chair. So I'm going to be talking about the importance of having your yearly plan ahead of time. And normally PACs will do their annual plan sometime between May and June timeframe. It's very important that you plan for those summer months. There's a lot of kids that will lose interest in the summer months if you don't have activities. A good way to keep them involved is enticing them with the Summertime Pack Award. They can earn little pins for their rank if they participate in at least one pack event for June, July, and August of that year. So because the scouting year runs through June, so for this summer, they would be earning the rank that they just bridged into. So my den in particular just bridged into Bears. So they would be working on their Bear Summertime Pack Award this summer. Entice them. There's all sorts of resources out there. I'll review some of those. So important items to review when you're planning out your year, your calendar. Look at the council calendar, have a copy of that. It has projected dates for council events, things that are going on at PIPSCO. That's really important to have. You want to have your school division calendar because that lets you know if you meet in a school, if your school's going to be closed, if it's not going to be accessible, if you need to find an alternate place to meet or decide you're not going to meet that night and move it to a different night because your school is not available. In addition to your division calendar, have your school's calendar. Like Pam was saying, coordinate with your PTA. See if you can be there at their back to school nights, their teacher nights. Be there, be present to recruit these kids who are already going to be in the school. If you're present, they're going to come to you. They're going to want to join. So that can be found. So the school division calendar can be found on your school division's website. The school calendar is on their website. So something that my pack and my troop is actually doing here is in addition to did somebody have a question?
You're moving off the mark.
Go that way.
The X,
Go that way.
the X on the floor.
You tend to, yes.
Okay. So in addition to looking at the Tidewater Council calendar, it's a good idea to look at CVC, Colonial Virginia. They're up on the peninsula. They may have an event going on that could be troop level, could be cub level, but they have some things that they can do with organizations and places up there that you can get in on and get your kids involved with. So for those that don't know, their website is cvcboyscouts.org. And then obviously ours is tidewaterbsa.com. Have a copy of those calendars when you're doing your annual plan. Community calendars. So you can find city-sponsored events. You can get those off of your city's website. Some additional ones, they have really good service projects throughout the year, is lynnhavenrivernow.org and the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, which is cbf.org. They have all sorts of things going on throughout the year that you can get on their website. They'll have the events where you can do different service projects. Some of those are actually coming up here soon in the next couple of weeks. And those count, because they'll be in June, they count towards your Summertime Pack Award. You need to have your past pack and den calendars. Find out what worked well, what didn't. Is there something that you need to scratch off of your calendar for now? Something that worked really well you want to continue doing? And then information on events or places you want to go. So if you want to do a lock-in, there's all sorts of places around that do that. The aquarium does it. The Air and Space Museum does it. Some other ones I can't think of right now. But there's all sorts of places where you can go and they have scouting programs. The programs are already set up. Some of them have certain number, like you have to have a certain amount of youth for the program. But if you find that you don't have enough, get with a unit that's close by that maybe you heard is interested in doing it and join forces to get those numbers to be able to do those items, those events. So the people to have at your planning meeting, all of your past leadership, so your Cub Masters, your committee chair, your den leaders, but most importantly, you want to invite your parents. You want them to have a buy-in to the program. You want them to bring ideas so that their kids have a say in what they're doing. So ask your parents, hey, is there something you maybe did while you were in Scouts that you would like to see our pack do or our troop do this year? If it's feasible, add it to your calendar. Some tips that I found over the past few years is, in addition to your pack calendar, make sure that as den leaders, you have a pack or you have a den calendar to give your parents for that month. I have where I detail out what we're doing as far as adventures for that month. And that way, if the kids can't be at a meeting, they know what they've missed. That's really important as well in your planning. And that also has the pack events for that month as well. You want to change up the activities you're doing every year. Don't do the same things. Now, like I said, there are some things that work, and do those, but switch it up so that the kids are interested. They have something different to look forward to. And just remember, your calendar is dynamic. It can change, but if you make a change, make sure that your leaders and your parents are notified when you make that change. And the way that my pack is set, an active pack is a successful pack. We always have different activities throughout the month, during the school year, during the summer, and our kids have a blast. And then the biggest thing that we did as a pack last year is we focused one meeting strictly on our annual plan, where we detailed out everything we wanted to do for the year. And then a couple weeks later, we revisited and actually did our budget. So that may work for your unit, that may not. We found that it worked better for us because we were able to strictly focus on the program, one meeting, and then come back and work on the budget aspect of it. And Pam is actually going to talk about how to fund all the fun things that you put on your calendar here in just a moment. So the biggest takeaway is, what do you want your ideal year of scouting to look like? What kind of activities do you want your kids to do? What kind of activities do they want to do? And so if you have any questions, you can always reach me. And does anybody have any questions for me now?
I have one question.
Yes.
What was the second website that you mentioned?
The Chesapeake Bay Foundation?
Yes.
cbf.org.
Okay, thank you.
Can you share those in the chat for
Yeah.
those?
Absolutely. Anybody on Zoom have questions? One other thing I would like to share is that when you do these events, make sure you're putting them on your scout book. That's one way for your parents to be notified. You can set up reminders through Scout Book to go out however frequently you would like, and it's going to bombard them with emails. The other thing with that is take attendance. When you're doing these events, especially during the summertime, to keep track, you want to take attendance at these events because as long as the kids attend at least one event every month, June, July, August, they get that summertime pack award. Also, for dens that have at least half of their members attending those events, one in each month of the summer, they actually can do, I don't know if they're still doing the little den, are they still doing the den awards? Do you know?
Yeah, I believe so.
So if you have a den flag, you can get one of the,
Summertime dental.
it's not the pin, but it's the actual
Ribbon.
the ribbon. Couldn't think of the word for ribbon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay.
And something else that my pack does is, and I have it here. This was for this year. For those that are here, want to take a look at it. For each event, if there's somebody that's present at the planning meeting that is going to head up that event, we go ahead and put it next to that on our annual plan. And that way we know ahead of time, we have these events covered, but we need someone to help with X, Y, and Z. So looking at it, and again, this is dynamic, it changes, so we update it as we go throughout the year, and we have somebody that's going to be heading out a particular event or whatever we're doing.
Is there a troop version of the summertime awards?
No, there is not.
No. There's the camping award instead.
Help a pack earner.
Yeah, help a pack, definitely.
Yeah.
Right?
Find a pack, help them.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So, well, thank you so much. And the PACs, the committee chairs and the Cub Masters all should have received. Any committee chairs and Cub Masters here? Did you receive this in the mail? In the U.S. Postal Service Cliff Clayton mail? So, well, good. So, So that's what we're trying to do too, is gather, and we had a trifold that's back there as well. We're trying to get all this information together in one place so you're not having to peck through the calendar and find out details, but you have more of them up front while you're doing that. So, so now we've talked about how to plan your great year of scouting, and that's important as we move along, because when a parent comes up and wants to join your pack and goes, what do you guys do? You don't want to go, well, we're still figuring it out. There's some things we kind of like to do. I think we're going to be doing that this year, and I've seen that a lot. If you're a parent, first time doing scouting, what's your reaction going to be?
Yes, disorganized.
Exactly. So that's what Katie just talked about. That's why it's important. So the next piece is in order to do all this stuff, it's going to cost some money. So our popcorn queen.
I was like, where are you going with that?
Our $1 million popcorn queen who has led our council to new heights in popcorn is going to come up and talk about that. So
Okay.
Pam, and then I'll go on here and find your handout to share with everybody.
It wasn't me that did it. It was everybody here that led us to 56,000 last year in popcorn
Yes.
sales. So you've gone through your calendar. You've decided what you wanted to do as a unit for the whole year. So one of the other things I did want to mention, and Katie, if you did mention this, I apologize because I was looking over my numbers here. We do a pack or a parent talent survey, like what things that they have to bring to the table. We also go ahead and we ask them what things they'd like to do as a family in our pack. Would they like to do more camping? Would they like to do more, water sports or something like that? To get kind of a gauge, because your unit is always kind of morphing with the group and the influx of people that come in. They may have different interest levels, or you need to expand out a little bit. So with that being said, with the plan in place that you place in June, July is your budget meeting. So you have to figure out how to go ahead and pay for all of this. So my preference is popcorn, because I think it's the biggest bang for the buck. You can sell other things, but I look at when you're coming in with these new parents, and most of them are in the fall time, and that's when popcorn is. So, and Tidewater Council has earned 40% commission. Now, every year that's kind of up in the air depending on how we manage that sale, but we are the highest percentage of profit in the nation with this company. So with that being said, you sell popcorn, you're going to make a lot of money for your unit. So you need to make sure you get a popcorn colonel and that whole crew on board. Okay, so we've got the pack budget here, and this can be found. Where did you find this sample budget at?
This is on the National BSA website.
Okay, fantastic.
And there's a blank version that you can do yourself.
Okay, gotcha. So a lot of units, I've heard, they don't do budget meetings. They've got a bunch of money and they just kind of decide they want to do something and then they just take it out of there. Personally, my unit has always done a budget and we've always done line items, and we've always had excess in those line items because, some people will not show up, or you have an influx of people coming in, or a decrease. It is a living budget. So, but let me go over here. Can you bring it down a little bit?
Over that,
Can they still see me on this?
to the bottom,
Yeah, go up to the top.
pull back to the top.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go over this really quick with you guys. So the first few things here, registration fees, unit charter fee, that is a non-negotiable. That is something that you're going to have to work into your budget. And what's going to flex here is the number of people, okay? Boys Life, depending on how many people want Boys Life, that's an additional fee. Some units go ahead and provide it for their scouts. Some units ask the parents, and they save a little money if they don't want to go ahead and get it. The accident insurance fee is a non-negotiable. Everybody needs to be covered by insurance in the unit. Okay, then you get into the part where it's a little flexible. So you're gonna be dealing with advancement. You'll definitely like with the den leaders, you'll know how many awards you're supposed to be awarding each kid depending on, the rank. So you can have a good idea with that. Handbooks, some units go ahead and provide that for their scouts, and it's not $10. I don't know where that came from, but not.
It's an old
Now,
word.
yours went up again
Is
too.
this a
Registration
1950
says
budget?
24, so
What?
that tells you,
I know.
registration says 24.
Yeah, don't go by all these numbers, but yeah. So anyway, but I'm just showing you how to set up a budget. Don't hold me accountable for any of this. Okay. So the handbooks, some units provide that. Some units take their new member coordinator, get all the new parents up there, and we tell them everything they need, and they buy their own books. So that's depending on what your unit wants to do. Pack leader, that's for miscellaneous, I believe. Special events. Now this is when you start doing the big events like the blue and gold, the climate derby, any kind of rank advancement or, crossing over. That all would be in this area here. Special activities. Now this is where you're going to get into some of the pricey items. We like to go, deep sea fishing. We like to go and do whale watching or dolphin watching. So those are going to be some of your bigger ticket items.
What about funding Wood Dash?
Well, if you
It
are,
hasn't gotten there on the line item yet.
sure, there you go. Stop it, man. Okay, Andrew, stop picking on me. Okay, so Cub Scout Camp, sometimes when you sell popcorn, that will be one of the incentives. They'll get Cub Scout Camp or a resident camp. So you can put that in there. Program materials, my pack likes to go ahead and give the den leaders $20 a month for any of the things they need to buy for their dens. That's kind of a slush fund. That's not used like that all the time. Sometimes they'll be needing more, but usually you end up with extra money there. Uniforms, that's up to your unit if you want to provide the leaders with uniforms. That can be kind of pricey, but you can also work that into the budget. Where'd we go?
So it's an old
Oh,
form.
sorry, I went all the
Uniforms would
way.
also be
So the uniforms
pack
is at the
t-shirts.
very top. I've
Okay,
scrolled.
what'd you say?
Uniforms could also be in pack t-shirts.
Pack t-shirts, yeah. Like with my unit, what we do, and I'm just gonna give my example because I know my pack the best, but when they go ahead and sign up, if they go ahead and pay that night, they get a free t-shirt. So, all right, so when you're looking, with all the things that we put together here with 50 scouts and 20, it looks like 20 leaders, it's almost $50,000. That's gross, okay? So where are you gonna come up with all that money? Popcorn. Okay. There are other things too, though, that you can come up with, and it all depends on the time of year. I'm going to go back to my little square here. There are camp cards. If you have a family that comes in the spring and you need a fundraiser, camp cards is great. That's 50% profit, $10, right? We sell for $10, you get to keep 5.
And I have some in my office.
We have some,
I need some more.
and not only,
I got 10, I'll sell you.
I'm going to plug, do I get a bonus if I plug camp cards too?
You're supposed
I
to.
will.
A little extra in your paycheck, Pam.
Okay, or going to get me dinner later. Okay, but anyway.
Not me.
Camp cards is not only local, it's national. So there's a way to plug into the camp cards, right, Bill, to get the national things?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me, I'll grab one from my office.
Okay, there you go.
So come about something else, and I'll grab it.
All right, so we'll talk meat sticks, right? Who sold meat sticks here? Nobody? Okay, that is great if you get an event, like you're at a PTA event, or you're able to go to a baseball game and set up a booth. They're $1. You get about 50, what do you get? What's the percentage on? 47?
60 cents a
About, it depends on which company you go with, 40 to 50.
Country Meats
Country meats, I think
is a good one.
Mention
And their Ghost
unit-
Fire is really
unit
good.
money earning application.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing. So there used to be a rumor that when you filled out this application, money earning application with council, that they're going to go ahead and take some profit or something like that. That is not the case, okay? Just tell you that right out. What they want to know is they want to know what your unit is doing to make sure it follows with the BSA regulations. Is that not true?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, I could give a lot of examples, but I will not.
You're looking at people.
I will not.
I didn't even do anything.
And it's also, sometimes we get people calling and says, I ordered wreaths from some kid.
Yes, yes.
And so we can follow up.
Yes, so when you do a now, does this apply to popcorn? No. That's one of our Tidewater Council sponsored fundraisers. Does it apply to camp cards? No, you get a pass on that. If you sell wreaths, if you sell mulch, if you sell meat sticks, if you sell candy bars, I have to talk to you later, by the way. If you sell anything like that, Tidewater Council just wants to know what you're selling, okay? And if there's any questions or they get a call, they know who to contact. All right, did I do a good plug for camp cards?
You did, and I have one
All
here.
right, come on, show it off.
All right. There, I'll do a close-up. How that look? All right.
Okay.
So camp cards are cool because number one, your kid sells them and says, hey, if you pay $10 for this camp card, 5 of it will pay for me to go to camp. And there's a lot of good offers on these tear-offs, like $5 off at Harris Teeter, $5 off at Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply lets you sell them out front of Tractor Supply, so
Nice.
so as you're people going into Tractor Supply, how would you like $5 off? Pay for half your card. And then there's some offers on the back, including the pizza place at this little good New York pizza at this little strip mall over here when you're coming to the scout office. But the big thing is on here, each of these cards has its own special code. And you sign on to this website and put it, and it'll ask you to put in the code for your card. And you'll get to choose 10 special different things out of 200,000 throughout the U.S. So if you sell it to a grandparent in Ohio, then she can go on and, she's not going to be able to go to Big Apple Pizza, but she'll be able to go on the pizza place near her. Our family was on vacation in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine this summer, and we looked on the website and found a discount to rent canoes, and got a canoe rental from our camp card that saved us $15, I think, when it was all said and done. So we paid for our camp card, and it's really nice because you sign out the amount that you need, and as long as you hit the deadline at the first early July, I can't remember the exact date, sorry. If you turn them back, if you turn in your cards before that, then you'll have to keep them.
Got some chats coming in right now.
So we still have some here. You can work through your district executive if you're out in Zoom land, or let us know, or people here tonight, I have a box of them that I would be glad to sign out for you, because I would rather them be in your hands than sit here in ours. We want these kids to pay their way to camp, and our son does it every year. So
Thank you. All right, you had some chat questions. So that is great, and it is risk-free until sometime in July. Is that right?
early July, I can't remember the date.
I like risk-free.
It's in the EK. You should look at the EK.
Listen, camp cards is not my thing.
I'm just saying,
I'm popcorn.
Go to the
I'm popcorn. So anyway, okay, so
Chats are good.
So Tony is online right now, and I had Tony come on to Zoom because he has dealt a lot with PAC budgets, and I wanted to know, Tony, did I do an okay job? Is there anything I need to add? Can you unmute him?
Yeah, so the only thing I would address is what happens when, regardless of what type of fundraiser you're doing, the scout that raises, $5,000 or the scout that raises $500, how do you handle that as a treasurer or as a leader or something like that?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my unit again. My unit goes ahead, and we have a budget, and when we hand the welcome packet to them, we say, this is how much our program year costs. So my unit's usually about $330, okay? And some parents may opt to go ahead and write a check. Other parents may say, yeah, I want to get in whatever fundraising you're doing, or, you know, we'll make payments or whatever. But my goal with my pack is that every scout is paid for, that we don't ask for anything out of pocket, and also that one parent is paid for. So that is how we base our budget. And like I said, not every unit does it the same way. Everybody's got their own personality and what they want to offer parents. Some units just write checks and they don't want to deal with any of that, and that's perfectly fine, although I want them to sell popcorn, but I'm not going to say that anymore. Anyway, so, but then for some of the scouts that don't make the mark, say for instance, $330, say a scout of mine has got 270, then we might have a tiered, what am I trying to say, Tony?
Tiered recognition plan.
Well, what it would be is if you
So
you get this and this, and if you hit 330, everything's paid for. So, but that is going to be a little burdensome for your treasurer, and that's something that you need to sit down with your treasurer and say, you know, what do you think is a good game plan, you know? And is it better for us to just go ahead and see where everybody's at and then charge them monthly after that, or just, you know? So that once again is however your unit wants to run. Tony, did you have something else?
yeah, sorry, I was listening, but I stepped away from my laptop. Yeah, so what we did at our pack was we figured out different tiers and how much things cost. So starting at the basic level. So what would it take to get a scout one rank to the next? He's got to have his registration. He's got to have his book. He's got to have the bling on his uniform. He's got to have the bare minimum to get from one rank to the next. And then we figured out what that cost. And then we budgeted. That was our first tier level for in this case for selling popcorn. Right? Divide that amount 40%. And then we did that for, we added a few more things in, and then that would be the second tier and so on and so forth. So you can break it down as deep as you want. Like you said, it's really something for the committee and the treasurer to figure out how they want to do that, because not every kid's going to sell, $2,000 worth of popcorn. And it's just a fair way, I think, to break it up.
So with the units, with this kind, if you don't have anything already in place, you're going to want to start talking about this now, because come July, that's when popcorn season starts. And if you want to get in on popcorn, like I said, it's 40%, which is great profit margin for you guys. But if you want to get involved in that, you're going to need to have your plan in place to introduce it to your parents, because in your kickoff, meeting with your parents, you're going to want to set a goal. You want to tell them how much you want each scout to make in order to pay for their dues or whatever your unit wants to provide for them. So you definitely need to lay out the game plan for them. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. The key dates for popcorn. We already had our Popcorn 101 training. If you did not get in on that and you decided now after my great speech and sales job that you do want to get involved, then what I'd like you to do is reach out to your district colonels, which is on the BSA website, Tidewater BSA website. All those district colonels came back in. Okay, there you go. All those district colonels are back in this year because they're so fabulous. Let me see what I got going on here. See if you can see that.
Put it in chat.
All right. Yeah, we'll put it in chat. So anyway, this should have come to a lot of people's houses, but this is the regular training. If you've never done popcorn before, I'd like you to get with your district colonels and we will help you however we can to get you up to speed before the training on July 5th, which is at Great Bridge Baptist Church, and July 12th, which will be here at the council office. So that is also in the EK. It's probably also in the council calendar. So anyway, hope to see you there. And that's what I have to say about fundraising for your unit. And good luck to you all. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Pam, can I say one more thing?
What's what?
What's that?
Hey, Pam,
Yeah.
can I say one more thing real quick about the budget?
Yeah.
Hey, so I just want to let people know, so at the bottom of the budget, it talks about dues as an income. And it adds it into your bank account balance and things like that. So I just want people to know that they can feel free to take that out of there. If you want your fundraising to cover all your costs, including your dues, put your dues up as an expense and add that into your expenses so that you can factor that in when you're figuring out, how much popcorn or how much fundraising needs to be done.
Thank you,
Does that
Tony.
make sense?
All right.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right. So the next part we're on, all right. Andrew.
Andrew.
I'll let you introduce me first.
All right.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
So,
Okay,
Do
one.
it.
all right. So now,
I'll have 20, I'm sorry.
It's a really nice,
I need to put the sign up, y'all. All right. So we've learned how our pack health is and what we need to do to get it ready. We have gotten us a new member coordinator.
Woo!
Woo! We have built our ideal year of scouting and all the great things we're going to do. We know how we're going to pay for it. So now that we've got our ducks in a row, we're going to bring some new kids to the mix. And so we're going to put together our pack marketing plan. And our pack marketing guru, Andrew Huddle, come on down.
All right, so I think I was supposed to supply something. I
So
was just talking with one of my colleagues about the recruiting worksheet. You mean the marketing worksheet?
yes, it's on the back.
Okay, all right, different name on the top. Is this
So
one?
let me know what I will go ahead and pull that.
Yeah, let's pull up we're going to talk about the recruiting guide, the recruitment guide that we're talking about this year, the latest 2020 pack recruiting tackle box. It is all fishing themed. There will be a reason why we'll go over later, but it's got a lot of good resources, links, QR codes somewhere in here.
There is.
All right, scroll. So that image is different. No.
Here, let me
color.
make it smaller here.
Scroll all the way to the last page.
All the way to the very
way to the
last
last page.
page. All right.
So you've done your den inventory. Actually, maybe jump to the den inventory first.
which we talked about.
So we did talk about the den inventory, but it's very important to know what you're missing right before you start recruiting. No, keep scrolling right there. So you don't want to waste a bunch of time recruiting for lions when you've got 50 lions. You're going to kill your leaders. You don't. Well, I mean, that's great. You need to spread the wealth to other units. But you really need to know who you're missing. So you're going to start with this, and then you're going to build your plan on what you need, not what you can get. All right, so now scroll all the way to the end. So you've got your new member coordinator. We've got a timeline at the end of this packet.
Oh, I'm going. All right.
A little too far. Oh, too swift. All right. So we've got a timeline at the end of this packet. This is kind of how you should run things in progression. You get your new member coordinator. You're going to conduct a leader inventory. So you're going to go with not just your dens, but who's going to lead them, as well as your committee. And then you're going to build a pack information sheet. Now, I've gone ahead and done that. And I've got a flyer that I hand out when I'm selling popcorn. And I give to all my families that they can go ahead and give out throughout the year. Can you go to my pin?
Yeah.
So I've got a link to this in my pin. If you go into beascout.org, type in 23453.
Wait. Let me get to the.
I already had it up.
Yeah, for some reason. Let me do the stop share here. Let me share something else. You had it on Chrome?
Yes.
Oh.
It's move that.
How do we move this thing?
Yeah.
Here. How do we move? It's
Just
behind.
grab it where it says more.
More.
Hide video panel.
Hide video panel. All right. How many years have I been doing Zoom?
I think it's high floating meeting.
Yeah, go for that. I don't know. There you go. Units near you. No, wait, over to the right. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Everybody see that in Zoom land?
Great. So
Yes, sure.
something that I've done No, don't do that, don't do that, because you're covering up what I need to hit.
Yeah.
At the very bottom here, you'll see 2 micro URLs, and those go to my recruiting flyer and my welcome packet. So if you could go for the second one, just highlight that. No, not that, above it, there you go. Highlight that from HTTPS to the L at the end. Too much. Wait.
We're right there, right there.
No, way too many. Can somebody
What do you,
I got you, Bill.
all right, you handle that.
just then right click and hit search in Chrome or search Google wherever? Yep, there you go.
Maybe.
Oh, it hurts my brain so much.
Here you go.
All right, right click on it. Go to, next one, down, up, there you go. Finish. All right, so if a family can achieve this, it'll take them directly to my welcome flyer that I just updated. Oh, I got the links mixed up. Okay, so I'll fix that. So I'll take them to the welcome packet. So I was doing this on the clock today, so that'll take them to my welcome packet, which is just as helpful. This is an 8-page. I print it double-sided, 2 per sheet, and it's got prices, dues, everything in there, what a DIN is, what a pack is, and then at the very back, for the printed version, scroll all the way to the end, it's got all of our contact info, where we meet, who our Cub Master is, the committee chair, look at that guy's name, and then our awesome QR code, that when you scan that, it takes you to our pin again, in case they forgot where they got this from. All right, so try the other micro URL. And that'll take them to our flyer that we, yeah, come on. No, way too many. You got it.
Is it?
Yeah, you got the dash 2022 on this.
Oh, thought that was part of it.
There you go. What?
We also have QR codes on our popcorn door hangers and flyers as well.
Yes.
You have it done twice.
What? Okay, so we'll work on that. Nothing like finding out it doesn't work quite right. That's okay. You can also go to our Facebook. We've got all this stuff on there too. So fill out your PIN, put all your info on there, but you want to make sure that you've got, your pack info sheet. This is an extension of your pack info sheet, your PIN, which you need to update every 6 months at the very least. You should update it as often as you need to, but at the very least 6 months. Make sure that the people on there are still in your unit. Make sure the phone numbers work. Call them just to bug them every now and then to make sure it works. They answer the phone, because if they don't answer, find somebody that does, because you're going to miss a lead. Let's see. So that goes to your PIN. You're going to hold a joint scouting night, and I'm going to have my buddy come up here and talk more about that. Mike Ferrara.
Mike Ferrara of Three Rivers, hello.
So we're going to tag team on this.
All right, let me get this off here. Where's the?
So what happened was,
All right, where's the Zoom?
so like what Andrew was saying about the PIN is super important. If you don't have all Andrew's extras, just make sure you have a phone number to call somebody, because it's otherwise then the district person and or poor Dave gets tons and tons of leads and nobody calls them. And then those are people that are coming to us. It didn't cost us anything. They did a Google search and they found us. You need to respond to them immediately, because if you do not call or text them, they will go away and you'll never see them again. That's unfortunate, because they wanted to know about scouting. And anyway, the reason I was called up here today was to discuss the recruiting plans.
Assuming it's that one.
And one of the reasons most of the people are here today is because somebody else saw us do something, thought it was a good idea, and told us to come here and do it. So if you're out there in Zoom land thinking you're going to get away with not getting invited to come share your success story with what your pack did, you're wrong. That's how everybody on that side of the room got here. You want me to look over there?
No, just telling everybody we're watching them.
Oh, that sounds.
He's writing down names. Bill's writing down names. No, but seriously, if you did something well, we got to share it. That's why there are Facebook groups, Cub Scout leaders, den leaders. There's the den leaders at Tidewater. There's all these groups you can get all this information from. So please use the resources. Don't reinvent the wheel. Andrew's got all his cool things saved. He'll give them to you. Give them to me.
I'll give them to you in Word.
So you don't have to recreate all these
Word.
fancy
Word to your
documents.
computer.
Because if you have a family show up at your joint scouting night or a meeting or gets it from a parent secondhand, you want to look professional, like you put some time into it. You know what you're doing. Yeah. So as far as the recruiting timeline, when do we recruit? Always be recruiting, right? ABC. So you need to do it all the time because the summertime is too late. Parents are already finding things. They've already found things for their scouts to do. So maybe we can get a head start on the summer for the fall. If you're starting right now, we can get scouts in the fall. But they're looking at camps, day camps, whatever the case may be, non-scouting activities. So while you're out and about this summer with your packs, make sure you're advertising. Have your banner. Maybe your pack has a banner. You have your flag with you. Or you have joint
Even
scout
just
cards.
in public with your family. Wear your pack
You can wear your pack t-shirts.
everywhere.
I wore mine in Walmart earlier. And
New member coordinator.
We have cards here in the front of the council office. If you don't have any budget for cards, council has 10,000 cards. I have most of them sitting over there. You can flip them over and put your own card on the back of it. It'd be a scout cards. They're free. Polly's got them out on the table. It's a huge box for anyone in the room. If you need help with that, I'm a membership chairman for Three Rivers. The other ones are in the room here. So email someone on this list. We'll get you recruiting materials. If you've never had or never been on the BSA Brand Center, Google that. Free. You can get in there. It has all the images that Andrew's got on his cool pubs here. All these pictures, they all came from there. BSA spent a fortune on these photos. They're already cleared. You don't have to go get clearance from a parent to use a pack event photos. Those are great things to use on your recruiting materials. And they don't have to be super fancy. Some things they've already got pre-made on the BSA Brand Center website, like Facebook posts. It says social media posts. It tells you what to do. It kind of gives you an idea when you should post it. Things you can use for your recruiting plan, which I think you should factor in with your summertime planning, has already been said from Katie, Pam, and Andrew. Make sure you start planning when you're going to do like your back to scouting night with your current families. When do you want to start asking, when do you want to get into school? If you can get into school, you work with your district executive and or your membership folks. Andrew's showing me a calendar because I forgot the Roman calendar. May through August, planning. August through October, promotion and signups. So it's all in the guide here. September to October, orientation and follow-up. Do not forget to make sure with your current families that you retain those people, because you can have a focus on all the new families and forget the old ones. So it was mentioned earlier, if you're doing the same activities every year, someone who's a Weeblo this year and has done everything the past 4 years is probably going to be bored. So you don't want them to leave. Maybe start working with your troops. I didn't hear it mentioned, but if you have a troop near you, get them to a meeting with you. Use the Order of the Arrow. Use whatever resources you need to so that the scouts can start meeting people from those troops so that they can work with them. If you have girls, a girl den in your family pack, and or just a few girls, you need to find them a troop so that we don't lose them. I think we ended up losing some girls. We've been in decline. And I think we're lower than the national average, which is a little disappointing. It's one of our membership goals in Tidewater to fix that. So do what you can there to get in contact with those folks. So your district executive and or the key three, the membership committee chair, can help you find those units if you cannot find them yourself. Or you can go and be a scout like Andrew had up earlier and find another unit near you if you're not familiar with where your troops are. So we will have some district recruiting events planned. And Bill's going to talk about the Hooked on Scouting event later, but make sure you included those in your plans. Open houses, things like that. If you have access to your school, PTA, you have a teacher in your unit, use them. Use them to infiltrate the school. Okay, not infiltrate.
And if you're, and it's on the screen behind you, if your school isn't going to let you have access, sometimes there's a sneaky way to do that.
Yes, Bill has years of experience with sneaky ways in the schools. That's how,
So you have a scout party.
right.
Because, you know, when your kids have a birthday party, what if your kids are going to have a birthday party and hand out invitations, what's one requirement?
You gotta invite everybody.
You got to invite everybody.
The whole school.
So you say, hey, we're going to have a scout party. And your kids that are in, and you have little birthday party invitations. And you have all the kids in your pack invite all their classmates to a scout party.
We can do that, yes. We've got some of those stickers over there that we've used in the past for that purpose. Just have one of the kids bring the stickers to school and give them to his buddies and come to your joint scouting night, things like that.
And, you know, you get ice cream and games, and they're there. But there are some, we're going to go around and I'll just get friends. We're going to go around and we're going to go talk to all the schools and get the best access that we can. I mean, last year we had schools that even during COVID, we got to go out into the playground and talk to them while they were at recess.
Yes, there were a number of them that were very successful that I know that our district executive, Christina, and Jamie were down at Hickory Elementary, and that was a very successful one. English is hard.
So that's the type of thing we're working on doing, but even with that, if we have that access, it's still about what, you know, your pack and putting themselves out there.
Right, and you definitely need to, if you want to get members, you need to put effort into it, because Bill can go to a school and get you names and scouts and families interested, but if you're not going to deliver a program and have your new member coordinator and somebody take ownership of these new people, then they're going to leave, like Rich said, within the first 90 days. Some things you could do, like bringing a buddy, invite a buddy, like he mentioned, things that you want to try. We've seen webinars on that are very successful, are normal friend activities. So don't invite them to a meeting where we're all going to be in our uniforms and stand around and do all of our tribal scouting things, like reciting the oath and law immediately, and that family has no scouting experience and they're immediately lost. Invite them to something that we're all just wearing t-shirts or outside. You're doing the rock, you got a range master, you're doing the bottle rockets, something like that. Families would be interested in seeing those things, and that's not a particularly scouting centric, it's STEM. That might appeal to some homeschoolers that maybe don't get to do science regularly at home, or they're looking for the friendship, the social aspect that they don't get with just the siblings at home. You can also try to do community service events as potential recruitment events. My pack is going out to Chesapeake City Park to do a cleanup, and afterwards we're going to have, I don't know, the Kona ice truck show up, and we advertise it on social media and people show up. But anybody could show up, so just be mindful of that one. The peer-to-peer recruiting we talked about. I'll mention, and Andrew said you have a Facebook page. Don't forget to make use of all the social media. There's free options. My pack pays for a website through GoDaddy or something. It's $30 a year. It generates 2 to 3 passive leads per month just because people Google, things to do, Chesapeake, and I don't know, it comes up as it lists youth activities.
There we go. We have a social media page in our book about.
Yes.
So
there's lots of good resources. Nextdoor is one that you can advertise your activities that you're doing. Yard signs, they still work. If you're doing something at your charter organization, they let you put it out. Put a sign out the week prior. Join us here next Tuesday night for whatever it is. An ice cream social. Something like that. Something that the kids wouldn't feel too much, visiting families wouldn't feel too much pressure of what is scouting. It's I'm coming to have ice cream with some friends, and then they'll learn about scouting because Pam, the new member coordinator, is going to be in the back talking to the parents. And the scouts are going to be having fun with their friends because who doesn't like ice cream? The new friends.
You want to talk about things like Scout Sunday?
Well, there's things like that too. That's a good point Caleb brings up. Scout Sunday, as the membership guy, right after Scout Sunday, I will see 5 or 6 leads show up for the units that did Scout Sunday to those packs and troops. They'll say, hey, I saw the Scouts. When can we meet with them? I didn't know my church had Scouts, those sorts of things. So those are great events that maybe you participate in, something with your charter organization, or if it's a church, whatever the case may be, so that they see that there's youth activities happening there.
And I want to interject on that. That also serves a good purpose for helps your pack or troop, their relationship with the charter organization, because when you go to re-charter every year, oh, we've got kids from our church in that pack. Yes, we're glad to have you re-charter again this year. So that's a really important. That's a really important thing to not forget that sometimes it's overlooked. So thank you all for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's a good one. Again, wearing the uniform, being out there and showing that they're Scouts. If you are going to hold an open house night, just make sure you have the proper people that are knowledgeable about your unit available to speak to those families that might be coming in. You can use your current families to ask their friends to come. You can advertise it. We can make flyers for it for the school. We can try a lot of things depending on, so you probably should talk to whoever your membership chairman is for your district, your district executive, to find out what your relationship is with your schools, the charter work, that sort of thing, so we can get you the right materials. Be prepared for that. Any questions from Zoom land?
I did see a question that I was going to help with.
Yes, Andrew.
Okay.
Let's stop the share here.
All right, so don't stop sharing. Go back to the pin. Go back to my pin. Because the question was, if I remember right, how can a troop use these resources? All right, go to Zoom and open up chat. No? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, wait.
Check.
All right. Scroll down. There it is. Are troops not on the VSA website? All right, so how do we correct that? So I assume you're talking about your PIN. I'm going to assume that. So when you go and set up your PIN, your key 3 will have access to adjust whether your PIN is visible or not. And I would highly recommend you coordinate with your district membership chair to make sure that you know how to do that. They'll go in depth.
So they've actually just put this out to the district membership chairs today or yesterday.
To activate it.
We will actually be going in there and making sure everybody is visible now that all the charters have posted.
Yes.
So everybody should be there within the next couple of days. Keep checking back, make sure your key 3 are current. And the biggest thing is to fill in all of, so not just your key 3, but your additional contacts in there so that you have your delegates, so additional people outside of your key 3 that includes your new membership coordinator. You have delegates, that way if those people can't access or are doing something, you have somebody that can access the Via Scout PIN and go in and make any changes and also accept those new leads that are coming in too.
And to learn more about that, I'm pretty sure she's going to be teaching a class at Powwow on that or she is now. So please look forward to that. She's going to teach you how to set up your PIN and all the details on it. If not, contact your district membership
Sorry, that's
chair.
not part of my ticket.
But if in the time that it's going to take for that to come up, another way to get out there, go back to the PIN. So make sure that your Facebook is set up. Click on the Facebook link.
The Facebook link.
So I've got a public and a private member-only Facebook group for our pack, and it works great because one is the face of the pack. Holy cow, you're not zoomed in at all.
I don't have a.
Does it zoom out? Wow. All right, so this is our public Facebook group. You can scroll up, that's fine. So this is just a bunch of happy faces. That's what you want everybody to see. Happy faces, happy leaders. Keep scrolling up. That's the other way. The other way. There you go. So you got people in uniform, people out of uniform. This is the kind of imagery you want to use for your recruiting materials so that it's actually welcoming. You've got all different levels of leadership, and then just parents in here, street clothes. All right, scroll back down. We've set up our own logo because now we're chartered by the Moose Lodge. I spent a couple days at work working on that, so thanks government for paying me for that.
You're welcome.
Noted.
That's your tax money at work. All right, keep scrolling down. You'll set up where in the About Me section, set up all the jazzy stuff that you want people to read that gets them to sign up, and put all your contact info in there. Your Be a Scout pin. Holy cow.
I don't have a Facebook account,
No, it's okay.
so it's
But
telling
make
me I
sure
need
that
to
all
have
this
one.
contact info is accurate as well. And then, post stuff every so often. Post things from your Facebook page to other things, council pages.
Also,
And that
you
gets
have your leaders share
Yes.
what's on your Facebook to get greater reach.
So this is the webmaster's, technically the webmaster's position. I don't think even units spill much anymore, but your new member coordinator should be pushing this kind of stuff. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I would highly recommend you set up a LinkedIn for all of your leaders too, so that they can put in their volunteer time and experience, so that it helps them professionally.
Nice.
Because this should benefit the adults as much as it does the pack.
Oh, that a calendar.
Scouts. Yep, I put the calendar up there. I didn't put May's, obviously, but I put a lot of good stuff on there, so check it out. Make sure you update your PIN, talk to your district chair. I know, I'm running long. This is his job to run long.
I got a question.
Yes.
In regards to the faith, do you use one that's just for the general public to see and then a private one for the
Yes, I have a members only, and then I have just the public face advertising one. I got away from using the members only one because I wanted everybody to use band, because that's how we do a lot of our calendars and all of those events and communications. It got to be confusing. So I got away from using it for a while, but now that I want everybody to share pictures and everybody's on Facebook anyways,
All right.
it's just a little easier.
It's just.
All right.
You have to use the system that all the parents want to use.
Yes.
Because I'm old and I want to use email. And nobody reads email, and I figured that out. So you have to use the things like Andrew's using here to.
And not everybody wants a text message or an email or a phone call. You've got to figure out what works, but you got to get a hold of everybody. And sometimes you got to kind of strong arm them. All right, this is what we're doing. Do it. All right, next.
All right. So we were going to save this for last, but our person that has the most knowledge of it right now and has studied it the most since it was introduced to us a couple days ago is here, and he's got to go to another meeting. So we're part of a pilot program in the Boy Scouts of America, and that pilot program is, as you know how all of your how many family packs do we have here? So you know how in your family pack you have girl dens and boy dens, right? Yep.
No.
No. You have boy dens and girl dens.
Sure.
Well now the Boy Scouts of America is rolling out a pilot program that we're part of, where you can officially have dens with both boys and girls in the same dens. Isn't that a neat idea? Excellent. So we're part of that now, and Rich Becker.
We got approval yesterday to be part of the pilot program. We had to do a webinar, Bill and I were on a webinar today, giving us the briefing. So that's how new this is. You're the first ones in the council, volunteer-wise, aside from our VP of membership, knowing about this.
So
A couple of key points.
I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah. The reason why they're doing this, and I got my notes written down. Nationals decided that PACs were having too many problems recruiting enough leaders for both a boy wolf den and a girl wolf den. What? They were actually having girls with combined dens of wolves and bears, and that wasn't, the girls weren't getting a quality program. They didn't have, as they put it, the synergy for program delivery. They weren't having fun. They were leaving. We mentioned earlier, the national average is less than 1 girl per den per pack. That's the national average for recruiting girls. And the other problem we were having is getting female leaders for the packs, for each den. So they came up with a family den program, and those that are here were handed out the first memorandum of understanding, and contact your district executive. This form is what enrolls you into the program. You need to fill out the form, both the PAC committee chair and the charter organization or the institutional head need to sign that, and it comes back to us.
And your district executives will send you one of these. Your chair and your Cub master will each receive an email with those in it. And so committee chairs, Cub masters, keep an eye from your district executive.
We'll be doing that at our staff meeting tomorrow. We'll be told to do that.
You'll get it before Saturday.
Once you turn back in the form, we can go into My.Scouting and designate you as a family pack den. Then you have to go into Scout Book to set up combined dens. Instead of right now in Scout Book you have gender specific dens. This only applies Lions through Webelos. This does not apply to Arrow of Light. Your Arrow of Light Scouts must stay gender separate dens. That's so that they are encouraged to get ready to go into Scouts BSA, which are still gender specific troops. So that's encouraging them to get ready and develop the skills they need to go into Scouts BSA and work with the troops receiving them to have the leadership and get ready for that. On June, make sure you get the date right. On June 30th at 7 o'clock Central Time, there'll be a national webinar via Zoom on the specifics for packs that have signed up. We will not get the link for that Zoom link till about a week before the webinar. That's what National is not going to put it out. But we want you to be aware of what's going on. For those that are present physically, you have the copies to get to the committee chair. It outlines your responsibilities. In there, it says, get approval from your charter partner. Now, for those of you out there that everybody here, if you missed it in Zoom land, raise their hand, they're all family packs. But if you got a boy-only pack, this is a great way to talk to your charter partner about the possibility of becoming a family pack and then a family den pack.
And the other thing, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing is you have to use Scout Book to participate because we are tracking and keeping.
National's tracking the data via Scout Book of any growth in girl membership, how many dens are actually actively delivering a quality program by tracking advancement and belt loops that you put in den.
And the memorandum understanding you're reading, your charter partner has to acknowledge and sign that as well. So, and you got to go to another meeting.
Yeah, I got to actually go to at 8 o'clock is the national webinar on the National Jamboree.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you.
That's not me.
All right.
Not her.
All right.
She's international.
Mine's the World Scout Jamboree in Korea.
So I got to go listen to how to apply for scholarships for our scouts to go to the National Jamboree, 19 July through 2nd of August at the Bechtel Summit. And there are some boys and girls that are actually doing this. They're going from Bechtel Summit.
They're doing both.
All right.
They're doing both.
All right. So our next.
Those that are interested in doing both, come talk to me. I can tell you the specifics.
Does anybody have any questions about Family Pack program?
All right. So our next presenter is out at Powderhorn training, but I'm going to go be on the screen to share some things.
Is this going to be emailed out?
I emailed it to the participants You should
Right.
receive it.
All right, can you drop it on the Facebook page?
Yep, we'll drop it on the Facebook
Share
page, and
everywhere.
I'm gonna show you where else you can get it too,
Yeah.
so, on this part.
Okay.
So but yeah, we're glad to share that. So Steve, he's going, he was supposed to be here presenting. He's gonna talk a little bit about some stuff. I'm gonna share a screen for him. We're gonna talk about the resources that we have and the resources that are out there to help you. So I love resources. All right, so let me go to this part of the page. We're kind of clear at the end here. So first of all, we want to talk about sort of your team. So you have a district executive, and Steve, do you want me to start with this part since I know a little bit about these folks?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So your district executive's role in all this is they're going to sit with you on that PAC marketing plan, or here it is. This we want to sit with each and every PAC and go over this, and help you build it based on the resources and school access and things that are available. So that's one of the big things, and also part of that too is your membership chair for your district will help you with that as well. So we want to talk to the school principals exclusively. Now we want to be around and we want to be talking to those school principals. Now, if we don't have a relationship and you do, then we're glad to have you come with us. But school administrators, we would like to talk with them. That way we can build those relationships, and so that's the next part. And we're going to arrange those talks as well. So the next aspect of that is the joint scouting nights within the schools. We would like to run those, and there is in here there's a script of how that's going to go. And then also, we're going to arrange on-time approved flyer distribution at your school, and then immediate pickup of completed application and fees after that recruiting night. These are your district executives. Hopefully Bayside, we're looking at some other folks, but I'm going to be working with them. All right, you guys want to talk about what the membership committee does? We're going to try to get through this part real fast because I know it's almost 8 o'clock. All right.
So your district membership committee has a lot of resources for you. Council, they work with the professional staff to get equipment and stuff. So stickers, other promotional materials for teachers' night, yard signs. A lot of neighborhoods are a great place to put your yard, and recruiting effects, promotional material for upcoming council training activities. That also would show up on a great place to be on your calendar for new leaders. Den rosters. We were able to print a roster of your updated who is not registered and who is. When day camp comes along, it would be interesting to know that some people are not actually registered. Youth and adult applications, parent information guides, those are very important. They need to know what they're getting into and what is available for them. Parent talent surveys. Every parent has a unique opportunity to share with their children and with their friends on different things. It could be, working on cars, shops. It could be working on cars. It could be a variety of different things. Okay.
All right. Hey, and your commissioner as well. This is also, and so in the back of your book, here's some online resources, and we even have we're even modern and all modern like, and have the QR codes, so you don't have to type it in. And I want to show you something really cool here that we just rolled out.
Bill, let me point something out. Scoutwire is a very important newsletter. Every registered scout leader should be registered for that. Any new things coming down from national, you'll typically find that on that long before it hits the council sometimes. So if you want to know what the latest and the greatest thing coming out in recruiting and resources, you need to sign up for the Scout Wire. Very important page.
So this is the newest, latest, greatest thing we've just sort of kind of put together actually in the last 2 days. And we're going to expand on this. But all the things we talked about in resources, we have them in one place. We're putting them all in one place on our website. So the brand center. Also, we're putting in some sample pack calendars and sample trifle brochures and sample new Scout packets from various packs that you can look at and use. An online registration guide, a sample welcome aboard presentation, the Hooked on Scouting flyer, which we're going to talk about, peer-to-peer recruiting invitation templates, and then this tackle box that you got today. So this is on Tidewater Council BSA Cub Scout membership page. And we're going to be tweaking this, and this is a living, breathing document. So we are excited about that. Those are just a few of your resources. And thank you, Steve, for joining us from Powderhorn. All right.
Hey, Steve.
All right.
One last thing. Hold on 1 second. What are you doing? All right, I'm going to hit the ceiling. All right, so our theme for this year is, gotta make sure I don't destroy anything. It is.
You're back to the camera.
Yeah, you're back here.
Yeah, we can't see it. Here we go. Oh, I caught a scout. Hooked on Scouting is our theme. Woo! So we're wanting to build a lot of cool things with this, and probably the only person that has ever taken me fishing where I actually catch fish is going to join us on Zoom right now. Our fearless leader, Jamie Parnell. Are you? Did he fall asleep? I hope not after that part. Hey.
Hey guys, so I just want to first thank everybody for coming to our backpack to retention meeting. The more energized we are going into the summer to sharpen the saw and get prepared for this fall, the more youth we're going to retain. And having a pack calendar, having a pack budget, having a fundraising plan, getting your leaders identified, making sure they're trained, having a new member coordinator, the list goes on and on and on. And I know it's a lot, but if, our thought is to try and bring some of the people together for this meeting who do such a great job at these different aspects and let them introduce themselves to everybody so that you can reach out to them. If you didn't get what you needed tonight, feel free to reach out to every one of these guys that's been talking tonight. They're all very committed to this council growing. I believe we're trying to recruit 1,000 new scouts this year, and it's going to take everybody to make that happen. Learning how to use Scout Book, doing a new pilot program, making sure your Be a Scout pin is right, doing the USB codes, setting up a Facebook page. It's just a lot of things. And so for that, I just thank everybody. Our theme this fall is going to be Hooked on Scouting.
And y'all, and the people in the room have a flyer, and we have the flyer available on the website. So, sorry.
Our theme's going to be Hooked on Scouting. Basically, our theme is going to be on our flyers. It's going to be on our yard signs. It's going to be on our stickers. We're going to have an incentive item, which should be, it's going to probably be a fishing lure. That lure may have the Scout emblem on it. It may not. It may just have a sticker with a USB for them, kind of guiding them to our website. But these are going to be for new scouts who sign up at school night. Like Bill said, our plan is for our district executives working with the local PACs to go in, meet with each principal, set up a school talk date, and then a follow-up school night recruitment event at each and every school. Those schools that we have problems with accessing, that's where the individual units are going to come in and be more needed in their marketing plan to try and recruit. But it's our desire to get into each school and do a face-to-face rally, whether that's a lunchroom rally, a classroom-to-classroom rally, a general assembly rally, a morning announcement rally, recess rallies. You know, there's a lot of different types. Meet and greet in the drive-by lanes or drop-off lanes. And so that's our plan. So whenever a scout fills out an application, pays their fee, or does that online at the school night, they're going to receive this fishing lure. They're going to be instructed to bring this fishing lure to the district Hooked on Scouting event, which that event could be an overnight camp out. It could be a 3-hour field day with a fishing contest. Could be any number of things. It depends on what that district activities and camping committee and membership committee, they need to pull all the manpower assets in the district to come up with planning a unique Hooked on Scouting, Keep the Promise event. And I say keep the promise because that's what it's all about. What we're wanting to do is give each family that signs up into scouting within 30 days, get them to an outdoor event where they get to do all the cool things that we're going to tell them that they get to do at a school talk. So we're going to tell them, you're going to get to fish, you're going to get to shoot a BB gun, a bow and arrow, you're going to get to go on hikes, you're going to get to camp, so we're going to tell them all these wonderful things that they're going to get to do in scouting. We want to make sure that they get to do those within those first 30 days. And hopefully they'll be recruited in time to come to the Hooked on Scouting event on October the 15th. If the family gets recruited too short a notice to make it to that Keep the Promise event in their district, then they can come to the fall festival event in November. But our thought is between the unit level camp out, the Hooked on Scouting district field day or camp out, depends on which district and what that district wants to do, or the big council fall festival event. Our plan is having a lot of different opportunities for that new family to come and see scouting, whether it's at the unit level, the district level, or the council level. We got to get them to an event within their first 30 days. And the incentive item, of course, is going to tie to the event. And that's to try and get the little scout, Johnny, Sally Scout, excited about having received an incentive item, which in the past it was a gold rock, and bring that to the event. Now, what your den or what your PAC needs to do is reach out to your district membership chair or your district executive and let them know what event you would like to host. And so you would say, hey, our den is going to host a ring toss activity and we're going to bring candy, or our den wants to host the fishing contest aspect of this thing, and we're going to come up with a bicycle as a prize for the scout that catches the most fish. It could be anything like that. It could be our PAC has a lot of range masters and we're going to oversee the archery range. If our location will allow us to do that, you want to have that. But we know it could be anything. It could be a rock throw event with 2-liter bottles, and the scouts would be, or the new scouts would be excited about that. We want to be a little careful about inviting all our existing scouts to this event because we don't want the event to have real long lines. I'm not saying don't invite existing scouts. I'm saying be cognizant of flooding the event with existing scouts to where new families aren't the target audience. That's our target audience, is our brand new scouts and brand new families. And so we want to make sure that we put them on a pedestal and they get to do everything possible at that Keep the Promise event, again, to get them excited about going and doing more scouting scouting opportunities. Does anyone have a question about the Hooked on Scouting Keep the Promise event/theme?
Bill, have you already removed the hooks from the lures?
So no, the hooks are going to have, I mean, the lures are going to have hooks.
New member get a free one to this training, right?
Hey now, I want one.
We're, you know,
Woo!
we're not going to take the, you know, I forget how they word this, but basically the supervised activities like fishing, like, you know, fire building, like, you know, earning your whittling chip and getting to use a pocket knife for a first time. It's those activities that excite scouts about joining. And I'm not denying the fact that we need to be cognizant of hooks, and we need to be cognizant of teaching new scouts how to cast. And you may want to have a casting station where they come there and they learn how to cast. And, you know, much like you have your circle to use a knife, you need a circle to cast a line. For your real younger scouts, you're probably not going to allow them to use a lure with treble hooks. You may want them to use a single barbed hook with live bait on it. But the aspect there is still the same. We want to give them an opportunity to fish, potentially catch a fish, and have a lot of fun in scouting. And so let your creativity start to work for you. Start to talk to your den and your pack about what activity that you can bring to this event to make it fun and exciting. And again, each district's going to have a little bit of a different spin on this event, and it's going to be catered to the facility that they're able to reserve to use this. But even if a new family only wanted to come for a couple hours versus a camp out, then that would also be afforded to them. And so I'll be really interested to see what each district comes up with for their Hooked on Scouting event. And so this is not a sign up event. This is more so a Keep the Promise. You've already signed up and you're coming to this event to do activities. Now, we still may want to have a sign up booth or a person that is there helping people who maybe heard about the event or didn't get a chance to get registered in scouting available. But this event is supposed to be a program event and exciting for these young new scouts. And with that, if there's no questions, I'll turn this over. Looks like Dave is going to show us how to cast that spinning reel real quick.
Well, I hope to be casting from Sandbricks Beach on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh,
So, yeah. Anyways, thank you everybody for coming. I want to introduce your membership team. First of all, in Bayside, we don't have Albemarle's here, but from Bayside, we have a brand new membership chair, and that's Elizabeth Connor. And so she just joined us. She's official as of Tuesday night. And thank you, Liz. Looking forward to working with you and all the great things we're going to do with Bayside. So, and Princess Anne, we've got Katie Ramirez. This is Katie's first year as membership chair.
Yay! Eagles.
Over Over in Three Rivers, we've got Mike Ferrara.
My second day.
Mike's been with us for 3 years. We have some support staff. We have the Cub Scout recruiting chair. That's Andrew Hutto. We have the Princess Anne sort of assistant membership chair and popcorn kernel as well. Pam, come on up.
You guys are making me
We have Steve, or we did have Steve Smith on. He may have dropped off. He's out of Albemarle. He's our connection to National. We also have Gina Pacheco Forehand and Dan McFarland. They're our Scouts BSA recruiting chairs. We're working on our Hispanic recruiting chair. We think that's going to be Erica West. And who else? Is that everybody? We're working on some other programs as well. So these are folks that you can reach out to, as well as your district key 3 folks. And always reach out to me as well if you'd like. So anyways, thank you, everybody, and I'm going to let Bill close it out, I guess.
And we have one thing we're just to say real quick.
So how many people are going to Tide's game? To the Scout Night Tide. Awesome. So how many people on band are going? Or on band? On Zoom. Sorry.
You're making fun of us earlier.
A lot of people on Zoom, I hope. All right, so I need some help recruiting there. We're going to have a table and we're going to be recruiting for Cub Scouts. So if you can give us, a half hour or just hang out at the table and you have a break from your kids, let the den leaders handle that. You can just come and hang out.
What if you are the den leader?
Well, let your, co-parent, somebody else take care of that. Assistant den leader, second den leader.
Family pilot program.
When is this?
17th.
This is June 17th, Norfolk Tides game, the Scout Night. If you don't have your tickets, you've got till the 15th is the final super deadline. So make sure you get them. $14 for the game, $5 to camp. Definitely plan on coming and camping. If you don't mind sleeping on an absolutely flat, well-lit surface. There you go. Thank you, Christina. So,
and this is a normal friend activity.
yeah, this is definitely a normal friend activity. So, we're getting close to the end of the school year. Make sure you have your scouts invite their friends. And yes, I will be in contact with all of you. I've got your communication info to recruit you to come help.
Can I add one more thing outside of that?
Yes.
Real quick? So I know at least for our Princess Anne folks, Pam and I are going to be tag teaming now that we have access back into Invitation Manager. Yay! You will be hearing from us if you have outstanding leads. So we are going to start hounding you. So be on the lookout for emails between now and Saturday. I don't know if any of the other districts are planning on doing that. Not trying to put you on the spot or anything.
None of my usual suspect units are on the Zoom.
So, but Princess Anne, be on the lookout.
So May, for the first time, so in May, the Tidewater Council has more scouts in scouting than what we had last May at this time. And so let's keep that up with June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. But most of all, it's just my kids are in scouting. My wife's a den leader, and we want, and like you guys, we want more to have fun with this and more people involved. Everything that we talked about, all the resources are going to be on that webpage that we presented earlier. That's really cool. Thanks to Allison on that.
More to come.
And so if you have something you want to share, like your pack information sheet or anything else, let us know, because the more the merrier. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this, because want to thank all the people that came up and spoke. Come up.
Bill, don't forget July 2nd, Eatonton Steamers down in North Carolina.
Eatonton Steamers for those who'd like to drive or live there.
Well, if you're in Albemarle.
Yeah, or live there.
So I want to So I want to thank this team. You know, we've talked about this for the last couple of months, and now we're going to put our arms around each other and sing the membership song. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, I will fake it. Like, I'm gonna hum it. I'm gonna hum it. Just hum it.
It's not in my foot badge book, I'm sorry.
So obviously we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here. So thank you guys, and we'll
Bye.
if there's any more Zoom questions, we'll answer them. So yeah.